Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to 30 Days of Sketches and Mixed Media Mayhem. So today's sketch is this one right here. It is by Allison. I can't remember Allison's last name. It is a circular photo and only one photo in the sketch. However, I'm using two photos and I'm also going to be using them as 4x4 squares. I did bring in some doilies to kind of represent that those circly bits in there. And then of course for Mixed Media Mayhem, we need to use distress in any form. So I've got two distress oxide sprays, one in speckled egg and one in tumbled glass. Stencil work, so I've got my up in the cloud stencil from Scrapbook Reflections, and then tissue paper or vellum. I brought out my vellum. I have my tissue right there. I might add that too, so let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I have taken my up in the cloud stencil and put it in my IKEA spray box. That's where if I'm going to be spraying or doing mixed media, I throw it in here. And I am just literally taking my two sprays and spraying right through the stencil. So I've sprayed speckled egg all over the entire stencil, and then with the tumbled glass, what I have done is sprayed heavier in the center of the stencil. Then I decide that I need a little bit of contrast, so I go for my Distress Spray Stain. This is not an oxide. The other two were oxides. This one is not. In Blueprint Sketch, and I just throw some splatters on there. So some of the splatters are a little bit darker than the other ones. They kind of turn out to be almost a periwinkle color over top of the Distress Oxides. I'm totally okay with it. Now, that little cloud on the left looks like it's going with two little eyes and an open mouth. I just noticed that. Now, my vellum is a little bit of a travesty, and it's also a little bit of a trapezoid. So my initial thought for the vellum was to just have a torn edge of rectangle vellum, just kind of as a little bit of a background and kind of contain what I've got going on this layout. Because I know I am not exactly following the sketch, but hopefully you'll be able to look at this layout and go, yeah, I can see where you use the sketch here. And I will be completely honest, I looked at the sketch and then I went ahead and didn't look at it one more time. So this is just kind of what I looked at in the sketch and what I came up with. So anyway, the vellum ends up getting toward funky. It gets, or not a trapezoid, into a parallelogram. So I'm just kind of like, whatever, and I just slap it on the page and I'm going to go for it. So I pull out two pieces of P13 6x6 paper, and it has this kind of dark blue on this side. I trim that down to 4.5 by 4.5. That way I'm going to have a decently thick border around my photos. I am going to pop up that center because the photos are on top of those vellum doilies. I don't want the photos leaning down in the center of my layout. Now I decided to use the United States here, and I thought what I would do is draw a line going from California to Florida because that is what they flew, but ultimately I just end up putting a geotag in Florida. So that works, and I'm happy with how it goes. Now I am in my kind of travel-y, airplane-y type die cut boxes. One is just my regular one, and one is my Maggie Holmes Going Places, which I have not really busted out at all yet. And I can't say that I actually bust out. Do I bust out anything? I don't even think I bust out anything on this layout. Which is fine, right? Like, it's fine. I do add a flight attendant and boarding pass and little bits of travel-y goodness. Now, I do add these kind of pinked edge circle that I cut in half, and that gets tucked in a couple places. Because even though I'm not really celebrating the circles as they were celebrated in the sketch, I am giving a good little nod to them. That's where I add the geotag. I want to keep everything in kind of this blue, it's like blue periwinkly kind of thing. And then I decide I need a little tiny bit of contrast, so I bring in some green. Plus it's another circle and yet another circle, so I'm feeling like, even though I'm not looking at the sketch, I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm totally jamming with this sketch. It's right up my alley. And this is one of those times where it is totally okay to do that, right? Like, actually, one of those times. Every time, it's totally okay to do that. Use the sketch however you darn well want to use it. Okay, so this is me going through that going places bit. There were a couple things that would have been a good color match, but I just wasn't feeling it. I can't really explain. I really liked that map, and if I hadn't already chosen the United States map that was already there, that would have been on the layout. So I am in love with that vellum map, and I'm thinking about making a shaker pocket with it. Yeah. So I put this little tag down here, and of course, you know, it's got a tag hole, so it can't be naked. So I decide to go with an enamel dot on the tag hole, which is not my usual thing. Usually I tie a bow, but I really didn't want to add any string or anything to this layout. I did want to add in another little touch of green though, since I do have green throughout. So I've gone ahead and used those Gina Marie Designs enamel dots and placed them down. Now, the Gina Marie Designs enamel dots actually came from my friend Joni, and they're awesome. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but that little butterfly flew down again, and it's kind of leaning on my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. So I have the butterflies that Joni sent me, and they're on my camera tripod. They're actually right next to a wood veneer butterfly from MK. So I am inadvertently decorating my room with butterflies. And yes, I know I've been promising a room tour. It's been so long, and you guys are probably going to be sorely disappointed with what actually comes about in the tour. But I'm even getting pressure at work, guys. So, yeah, that's going to have to happen. It'll probably not happen next week, probably the week after. That's when I've got a little bit of time to play with. So, yeah, this is going to finish off the layout as soon as I find some letter stickers. The title is going to be Off They Go, and it's in 3 different shades of blue and 3 different fonts. Now, this is when Christopher took Lana to college, so there are other layouts, there are other bits of the story for this. I'm not sure if I'm going to journal on this or not. I just don't know. So, you know, Amber might not think this is a completed layout, but to me it's done, right? It is done. Yeah, there it is. So be sure to check out the playlist for 30 Days of Sketches and everyone who is playing along with Christy's series. And then, of course, check out the links down below for Mixed Media Mayhem, and you can see everyone else's takes on our prompt for the month. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you again real soon for another video.